Okay.
Yeah, we back. We live. Another Wednesday with your host, Sam K. This is MMA Underground, and we have a very special guest in the building. You saw some of his fight footage, his professional fight footage there. We have the former Street Beefs fighter at the OG Yard, 30 plus fights, current OG Yard boxing referee. But he's a professional fighter at this point in time. We have the one, the only man in the mirror in the building.
What's good? What's good? What's good?
How you doing, brother?
Nah, I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good. I'm good, man.
Good to
And
hear.
man, it's been a long time coming, bro. I've been watching for a while, been a fan for a while, and you've done some great things amongst the Street Beefs organization. And from what we just saw, man, you've taken it to the next level, man. You
Yes,
want to talk
sir.
about that?
So basically, I saw how young I was in the community. I was thinking maybe I could take the next step. I myself, I want to make a statement for Street Beefs. I want to be the first world champion in boxing, which I will be in the professional stage for Street Beefs. I will make sure to hold their name out there the entire time during my career because that's what brought me up from the ground up.
Facts, facts. And you mentioned being young in this fight game. Uh, I want to take it a step back, man. Like, at what point did you, I could imagine fighting's been around you your entire life, but at what point did you say, this is what I like and what I want?
I used to be a football player, do football, basketball, a little bit of soccer, all that type of stuff. It didn't fit me because I had to rely on my teammates. When I'm in the ring, I don't got to rely on no teammates, no nothing. I got to rely on myself and my coach, but my coach is not fighting for me, you know? So.
And like, at what point in your life did you find fighting for you?
Well, really, I've been fighting my whole time. My first fight, technically, I was my mom was pregnant with me, and she got into a fight. So technically, that was my first fight. Um, but I've been in a bunch of fights, outside the ring, inside the ring, all that type of stuff. I took it serious around 16 or 17 when I realized like I really need to do something with myself, you know.
Okay, that's dope, man. That's
Yeah.
dope. And one thing I've noticed is like you've been very consistent, right? That's something you don't always see in some of the older fighters, much less the younger fighters. But I've witnessed you stay on it for the past few years, man, and really develop. And you see it throughout your fights. I didn't realize you had 30 plus. I knew you had a lot, but
Yeah.
man, 30 plus fights. Let's get into some of those, man, because you've got some classics under your belt. What are some of the fights that stand out to you in your Street Beefs career?
Everybody likes to talk about like they highlights and stuff. I like to talk about the lowlights of my career when I got my ass whooped a couple of times. Even though I was fighting in street beefs, they usually called it a draw, so you can't really say I won, I lost because I'm the son of Scarface. But there was fights like with Emmanuel, JDR. There's some other big names out there. I can't really name them, but they gave me a beating. So, I mean, it was a learning experience, is what I could say.
Absolutely, man. I definitely seen you go through the fire, man. And some of my favorites are the Emmanuel fights.
Yeah.
Those man, classics. Classics. Do is there any particular favorite fight of yours?
I would like to say, well, not necessarily, because I mean, I always like a fight of mine, you know. But of course, Emmanuel, he always comes up to mind because he used to be a professional boxer. He fought on Top Rank actually a
Mm.
couple of times, and he was a very experienced guy coming up. He also had 80 plus amateur fights. Um, been around him for a while. He's a cool guy and everything. Great to put the gloves on with him, you know.
Nice, nice. Now, for those who don't know, I think the majority of us do, but for those who don't know, you mentioned being the son of Scarface, the head and the creator of Street Beefs. Um, I had a question in that did you find did you find any extra added pressure or nerves coming into your first Street Beefs fight? And how does that affect you as a fighter, knowing that hey, my dad is pretty much always around watching, and he's the head of this organization. How does that work for you?
For me, I always saw there's always a huge crowd at Street Beefs. I remember some of the first events when Scarface was going around putting flyers just out on the street and stuff. I've seen it grow from that level, so I know the level of pressure that was put onto me on my first Street Beefs fight. But for me, I'm able to stay more calm because I can see how many people is watching me. I was able to prepare for that for years, ever since a kid. So I knew one day I'm gonna take at least one street beast fight.
Did you grow up, watching the fights, going to the
Yeah.
shows, cage side and stuff?
Yup. Yup. It happened in our backyard on Saturdays. As a kid, you get off of school, it's the weekend. Most kids they playing video games and stuff. Me, I'm in the backyard watching somebody get their butt whoops. Cool, maybe 20, 30 fights on average. Then it stepped up to 50, 60, around that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, man, you've seen it all, man. You've seen it all, and kind of combing through some of your fights earlier today, man. I didn't really realize how many different types of matches that you've been in your career. and it's pretty impressive, man. From the dark room fights, those bare knuckle fights, that not everybody's built for, uh, to the tag team matches, that once again not everybody's built for. Can you speak to some of those matches, and how was your experiences with those?
I'm gonna start off with the dark room fights. I mean, it was a battle of attrition and will and stuff like that. It really showed my heart out there once I really watched it back and how I performed in that situation. And for the tag team fights, I mean, it just shows like you can go at a very high pace for a good 30 seconds and then you trust your teammate into,
Yeah,
doing the same work as you do for a good 10 minutes total, you know.
yeah, absolutely. That's something I wish we did out here on the West Coast, but we've got our different mix of matches and styles and stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, man, Scarface came out recently, and I have to ask, man, at what point are we gonna see Man in the Mirror at Street Beefs West Coast?
See, I definitely want to come out. I want to come out to y'all. I want to come out to Dirty South and stuff. I see y'all are great, great organizations and stuff. I definitely want to come out there. But as of right now, I'm in training camp for my next fight for Valentine's Day. And then I got another fight March 24th that I got to worry about. So once I get those out the way, I'll definitely hit you up and make sure I could possibly get out there,
Yeah, we'd love to have you, brother. Love to have
Absolutely.
you. Get you a match if possible, or at least get some
You
refing
know,
in.
some sparring.
Get
I'm always down to spar.
Yep,
Always.
yep, yep. I was watching you and Bad News earlier, and Bad News is definitely one of my favorites. One of the goats of the OG yard,
Yep.
and yeah, bro, definitely got to get you out here, get you sparring, and more so than anything, just seeing how the community is out here and how what you guys created out there, how it truly has it's manifested its way out here as well. Um, but with that, I think that's a good segue into, I'm a former fighter, current ref.
Hmm.
You're a former OG Yard fighter, current ref. How is it refing fights in the OG Yard? What is your experience like?
At the same time, I gotta watch and protect the fighters at all times. But at the same time, the fights are so damn entertaining that it distracts you from your job. I love being hands on with the fight. Even if I'm not fighting, even if I'm just watching, even if I'm spectating, I just love it. It's grown on to me.
Oh, I can attest to that, bro.
Absolutely.
And then with the refing, it's like, how can you not sometimes get caught up? It's like you have the best view in the house,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like you get the best view. You're the third man in the ring, so you can go basically where you need to see the absolute best angle,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And I could imagine, for someone like you coming up, I would imagine something like that could add to your fighting, to where you're able to see more than the next fighter, right?
Yeah.
You're engaged in a way that other people aren't for a lot more time than what other people are.
You understand the technicalities more as you're refing because there are certain moments where you understand you can do this, you can do that. You just gotta make sure the ref doesn't see it. And I mean, I've taken those types of little tips and tricks into my fights to help me out, get the little advantage. Not nothing dirty, but it's enough.
And understanding those levels of the game. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Are there any? I mean, you've been around from the start, so I got to ask. You know, who are some standout fighters for you? Any favorites? Any, guys you've been watching your whole life, or any maybe even new guys.
I mean, there's been so many guys. There's probably been over 1,000 Street Beast fighters all
Easy.
time. You know, I love the guys that just come out to fight to fight. They take a fight whenever, whoever, however. Um, then there's some guys like, they can take it to the next level. Shout out to guys like Sensation, Wing
Yep.
C,
Yep.
Baby Hope already went professional. I'm trying to think. Those are some guys right now, but there's definitely a lot more.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, those are definitely some big names. I mean, Wing C's making waves right now. Shout out to him. I mean, Baby Hulk was one of the biggest viral sensations.
He was one of them ones, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and then we've had Sensation come out a couple times. Sensation is always, I say, Sensation is one of those guys you can really look at his career and see the trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he became a top level guy, and you can see the hard work that's put in. I want to get back to you though, and your hard work put in. Um, Obviously, man, you're putting in some serious work as far as training camps go, as far as uh, preparation. Um, for those who don't know about NutriCorner, can you go ahead and give us a little, your summary of the NutriCorner boxing, as well as what a training camp for Man in the Mirror looks like?
So an average day, I'm gonna use today for an example. I woke up, got my breakfast, watched some film, that type of stuff. I'm preparing for today's workout at NutriCorner. We got this thing called Fight Team. It's basically a high interval training type of workout to do a warm up. So for 30 minutes straight, you're doing hill sprints, knuckle push-ups on concrete. It's cold as hell today, so it hurts even more. Then we got these 25-pound baseball bats that we do bat slams on for the tires, and then we repeat that for like 30 minutes straight. And then after that, we go back inside, start to warm up, do some mitts. Then after that, we do 15 to 20 rounds of sparring. And then if you want to do some conditioning, you can do that. But that's what a average training session looks like in training camp of today.
Nice, nice. And usually when you're having a fight and you're preparing for that fight, how long is a training camp for you? Is it a few weeks, a few months? What is it usually?
However long it takes until I get my fight, honestly.
Okay,
Because I'm always in training camp. I'm always ready. I don't take no days off, no none of that. I'm not in the off season or anything like that. I'm always ready.
nice, nice. How they say, man, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Uh,
Exactly. And I had a 13-month layoff for my last fight, and for 13 months, I've been able to prepare and refine my game and all that type of stuff. And I was able to stay ready. I didn't have to, you know, take 2 months off and then boom, I'm back in the gym. I didn't have to do that. I was always in shape.
yeah. Shout out Bringing Smoke. Shout out Sasha. I see your comments.
Yes,
And
sir.
then Big Cal, King Cal had a question for you. He said, in a 5-round fight between you and Face, who wins? Come on, Cal.
I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. Come on.
Well said. Well said. I will say, it is a joy to watch y'all spar. I swear, it's a joy to
Oh,
see y'all spar.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And for me, he's the only person I physically cannot hit hard. So it's impossible to do hard sparring with him.
yeah,
He says the
yeah.
exact same thing about me. So it's that father son bond. Like you physically cannot hurt each other, but it's the perfect power where we feel it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Ryan asks, who is the most natural fighter in your family? That's a good question.
Honestly, I want to say Nate because he came in. He started boxing about 2 3 years ago, and he just has this drive. Not this drive, but he's so athletic. He's so snappy on his punches. He learns very quick. He's very reactive. Now, one of the reasons would be because he's 130 pounds, but when we put him against other guys similar to his experience, he just absolutely rocks them the entire 9 minutes of the fight.
Facts. I'd love to get him on, man, because I feel like he's slept on because he's quiet and
Yeah.
he works in the background type, but
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
he's smooth and he's nasty with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Uh, yeah, Nate is definitely one of them ones.
Shout out to
Uh,
Nate Booty.
yeah, man. But all of y'all, man. I mean, all of y'all, man. All of y'all are slick. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
remember seeing, I seen Nate, seen you, I
Yeah.
seen your sister sparring your dad, and I'm like, she
Hmm.
looks just like Scarface, but like a little bit cleaner, a little bit,
Now I keep on trying to tell my sister she needs to turn professional, right?
you
She needs to
know,
turn professional.
man,
Absolutely.
man.
I'm
So
telling you, she one of them ones.
yeah, yeah. Do not mess with the Scarface clan. Don't
Mhm.
do it. And speaking of which, we've seen different scenarios in the gym, right? Where
Yep.
people try to test, the we're gonna switch up the word, uh, the tribe, the Scarface tribe. We've seen
Yeah.
people try to test the Scarface tribe, and it never ends too well. It never ends too well. Most people don't show up to the gym, and then when they do, they get what's coming. Uh, I wanted to ask you. I've seen a fight in which you had to face a troll who flew out, talking mess in the comments. What was that experience like? When you actually, when the keyboard warrior finally does show up.
So I'm sitting there, average training day. I see this guy come in. I didn't realize it was him. Then my dad's like, Elijah, you gotta be fight. I'm like, who? There's like 30 guys I've been talking that's talking crazy to me. And it's
Yeah,
like, it's this guy. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's put on the gloves. I asked him beforehand, do you want me to put on 16s? He said, no, put on 12s. I said, all right. And that was that. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't want to do it, honestly. But if they
Well,
decide to come out to the gym and do that, I will do them a favor and do so. You know.
yeah, yeah. And to your credit, you started off a little bit light. You started on the lighter side.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
yeah,
I was warming up, I was from my perspective, I was using him as a warm up for my actual sparring. Like that's how different of the skill level it was. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it was just like it's that big of a difference.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is like people sit up and they make their comments. It's cool to have opinions, but people, they get disrespectful. And in most cases, they don't show up. But when they
Yeah.
do show up, you got to give them their issue, and let them know like, no, it's real. You know,
Hmm.
this ain't what you thought.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see that from time to time. We've had a couple scenarios like that out here in the West, not too often, but they always get their issue, and they realize like, okay, these aren't just some backyard buffoons. Like some of these guys really are
Some of
about it.
these guys really train. Like that's what we keep on trying to tell people. Yes, we have a bunch of guys who come out here just to fight, for the one time. But you got to think about it like this. This is why I'm a get into some real dirt. This is why USA Boxing is trying to take us down. Honestly, because we have a bunch of these guys fighting for us that should be fighting amateur.
Mm,
And it basically is amateur. You see what I'm saying? 12-ounce gloves, 3 2-minute rounds, um, off points type of thing, that type of stuff. But
yeah,
we get a bunch more views, we get a bunch more publicity and stuff, and people envy that and people are jealous of that.
yeah. That should be our market. Y'all taking our
Exactly.
no, 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 no,
Exactly.
no. Yeah, man, and it's a shame. It really is, because this sport it's beyond sports. You know what I'm
Not
saying? In my
beyond sport,
opinion.
it's just killing each other. You know, you're
Hmm.
killing each other in the ring. That's why it's the most lethal sport. You're wearing 12, 10, maybe 8-ounce gloves. It protects your hands so that when you're throwing it at somebody, you basically have bulletproof gloves. And then the wraps, don't even get me started on the wraps. It feels like a cast mixed with metal. You like how why am I able to hit somebody with this?
Yeah. Good question. Good question.
Yeah.
Uh, so I can assume, but I gotta ask. Man in the Mirror. How did we come up with that fight name? Where does that come from?
So the story about that, it's very, very simple. I did not have a fight name and I was thinking about the Michael Jackson song. So I was sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna use this. At the time, I didn't think I was gonna fight so many times. I thought I was gonna fight just one time. I wasn't training at the time. Nah, none of that. And then after a couple of times, I was like, fuck it, I gotta stick with this. I have to stick with this because nobody else is going to use it. I don't think there's a fighter in history that's going to ever use that. So I got to stick with it,
Why that song in particular?
because I
Favorite,
like it. Because
love that song.
nah, it was on my mind that the day. So it kind of just had to roll with it.
Hey, it's history now.
It's going to stay history. I promise you.
You got the acronym. I thought that
M I
was
T
dope. I
R
was like,
O.
okay, he thought to chop it down and make the acronym. All right.
See, one day on YouTube, you're gonna search up "Man in the Mirror," expecting that Michael Jackson song. Really, it's just gonna be a bunch of my fights. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. We putting it in the algorithm. Putting it in the algorithm.
man, I'm telling you.
So I want to talk about the transition into professional boxing. What was that like for you? Did we uh did we go from street beefs to the amateurs? Did we skip amateurs and go into professional? And what was that process like for you?
So I did amateur fights, most of them except for one is on BoxRec. I am 5-2 as a sanctioned amateur. But I did most of my stuff in Street Beats because my dad he convinced me to do it in Street Beats because they have bigger crowds, right? So it's going to put way more pressure on me, and I can do it more consistently. I don't have to travel that far, and I can do it however many times I want to in one day. And then once I turned professional, I saw these crowds at the local branches do not have as big of crowds as Street Beefs branches. There's maybe 50 people at these professional events. So I can stay as calm as I need to at these events. Now, keep in mind, once I get to the regional area, the nationals, world title type of areas, there's going to be 20, 30, maybe 50,000 people out there. So, yes, I'm going to get nervous, but as of right now, I'm ready for this type of stuff.
Yeah, you've been training for it for some time now.
Absolutely.
And at what year did you start taking training and fighting seriously? When did you start this journey? What year?
Man, I want to say like the year I had genuine thoughts of turning professional is the year I took it serious. I was really just doing like powerlifting and stuff and had boxing on the side to keep my cardio up and burn some calories. Then I guess 2024, I want to say, was the year where I was like, yeah, I should probably take this seriously. So I want to say January, February of that year, I really took it seriously. And then 4 months later, I'm in a professional fight. So, you know.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So from 4 months later, we're in our first professional fight.
Mhm.
What was that like? What was our first professional fight like? How did that go down?
It had so many like to the build up it had a bunch of these rules and regulations like you got to weigh in, you got to get this paper, this paper, this paper. I was worried about that, so I get my fight. After that I step into the like the locker room and stuff. I'm preparing how I usually do. I put on these wraps. It feels like a cast. I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. Like, I'm gonna kill this guy. They give me the gloves. It's 10-ounce gloves already broken in. I'm thinking like, oh, it's over. Then I get in there. I see there's maybe like 50 people in the what you call it, the crowd. And I'm thinking like, there's nobody here to watch me do this. And then I
Mm.
get into the ring. I look at dude's eyes. He looks scared. I step back and I do what I need to do. And I win a 4-round decision, 40-36 on everybody's scorecard.
Fire, fire.
Mm.
And like you said, you pretty much have went through the trial and tribulation already to where none of that was really, those weren't really factors.
It wasn't really that big of a deal. I was so focused on not losing. I wasn't really worried about the crowd or anything like that. Like, there's a bunch of eyes watching me. I wasn't really worried about that, you know.
Mhm. That's dope, man. That's dope. So, when you sent in your record, I saw we had two KOs on the record, three and
Yep.
one,
Hmm.
two KOs. Let's talk about those.
Yep. Yep. I'm listening.
Let's talk about those two fights and how they led
Oh, I ain't
to the
hear you. My
KO.
bad. So basically, what happened was I was in the fight. I was see when you think about getting a knockout, you never get a knockout. So I was always thinking about just box, and then boom, I just land a random ass shot that I didn't think was gonna drop them. I was like, oh, I dropped them because you're wearing 10-ounce gloves with crazy wraps that feels bulletproof. Like, it doesn't make sense. A jab hurts them. That's how crazy it is. You kill people in there.
Yeah. So what was the punch that did it? You said.
So for the first knockout, it was an uppercut. The second
Ooh.
one, I threw an overhand because he was just coming in. He was coming in wild.
Yeah, you got a nasty overhand.
Yeah, I mean, I got it from my pops. What can I say?
Facts, facts. So that leads to a good question, man. As far as fighting goes, who are some of your influences? If not influences, who are some of your favorite fighters?
My influence, like 99.9%, goes to my pops. He's the one that brought me up from the gate. From the gate, he brought me down. Um, he worked me the entire time. I would never have a better coach than this. I'm gonna keep him the entire time. I don't believe I'm gonna stray away from him or anything like that. The other 0.1% gotta go to me because I gotta put in the work and stuff. I gotta trust in myself. I gotta trust that I will do this. I will be able to win. I gotta stay in camp, all that type of stuff. And for my favorite fighters, guys like Bud Crawford, Naoya Inoue, shout out to him. He's definitely my favorite fighter right now. Sugar Ray Leonard. I want to say James Toney, Floyd Mayweather. Um, that style of fighter, you know, Pernell Whitaker. Um, damn, I'm trying to think of other title of Roger Mayweather, like that type of fighter. I love watching. You know,
Some great fighters, man. Great fighters, and
absolutely.
you can see
Mhm.
it in your style for sure. As far as like how you move, how you move out of out of shots and in and out of
Out of
range,
nowhere,
and
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's really dope to see the slickness for sure. Well, shoot, man. When do you think you're in fighting camp currently? Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So when's the fight schedule?
Fight schedule for Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Valentine's, and you're aware of your opponent. Have you done any
Yep.
research on your opponent, or
Yep,
what?
absolutely.
Okay, okay. Is that something that you do with all your fights?
I try to get down to the level where I know virtually everything in the fighting game of my opponent. So I know what exactly I have to work on. Of course, I'm working on everything, but I have a certain style that I want to work on. Um, of course, I have my own style, but like that variation is what I want to work on and make sure I keep at it for the entire fight, you know?
Yeah. No, that's smart, man. That's smart. I
Mhm.
mean, that's something personally that I believe in as well. Is why not? Some people believe I ain't got to look at any footage, but
No,
why
you
not?
don't have to, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It can only help.
But,
Can
yeah.
only help. Yeah, man. Definitely looking forward to coming out to the OG yard. Um, shoot, tomorrow's 2026, so you know, looking bright 2026, man.
Man, I'm hyped, you know? I only got one fight last year or this year still.
Hmm.
Next year, looking to fight maybe three, four, possibly fights 5 times, you know?
Okay, okay, pretty active, pretty active. I
I
like
love to
that.
be active. I love it.
Yeah, man. And you don't see that with everyone. Some people
Yeah.
kind of spread it out, and then some people are workhorses. What's driving you in particular? Well, what is that's causing you to say, "Hey, I want to continue to do this and do this at this rate"?
I mean, I I just love showing that if I can do it, somebody that didn't grow up necessarily in the hood or anything like that. I'm considered a suburban kid to most people. I'm considered a civilian. If I can do it, there's 99.9% of other people that can do it. I'm doing it to motivate everybody else around me, everybody that's watching me. And if you're watching this video right now on YouTube or anything else like that, I want you to understand you can do whatever you put your mind to, no matter the cause. If you put the sacrifice in, you definitely can do it. I promise you.
Well said, man. Well said.
Yep.
What as far as the future goes, 2026 and beyond, what do you see? What do you see in the future of Street Beefs?
I definitely see us, you know, building and growing with a bigger fan base. We just plan on, you know, pushing the agenda of guns down, gloves up. That's always our number one goal. I'm an advocate for that, an ambassador for that, and possibly even an apostle towards that. You know, I love to push that. That's also one of my main goals is to make sure when I grow big, get on the world stage, I will always make sure to put guns down, gloves up as my number one slogan in boxing.
Facts. Have you? Uh, Have you experienced any situations when concerning that? You know, any personal situations?
I've had many, honestly. I've been around gun violence a good amount. I've actually had a situation where one of my closest friends, he got shot and killed right in front of me at a party. Um, that's what really made me think like I have to push that agenda. That was around the same time that I started taking boxing serious, so it kind of correlated together, it intertwined. It was that seeing all the street beast fighters, they dealt with gun violence outside of the ring and stuff like that. I've had situations, there was situations at the gym where that type of situation happened. I'm not going to say no names about that, but you know,
Yeah, we know firsthand
yeah,
why we're advocating what we're advocating.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and once again, shout out to your dad, man. You know, for creating a platform in which we can do what we're doing and help, spread that word and that idea that you don't have to just shoot. You know what I'm saying? We can come to an agreement and squab it out. You know what I mean? And life can continue and go on. And
And see, with gun violence, whenever you shoot somebody, they're almost for sure going to die. Whenever you fight, there's almost no guarantee you're going to die. So I don't see why people decide to shoot rather than just fight. If y'all just squabble it out, y'all can fight, get y'all's anger out, and then move on with your life. 99.9% of the time, whenever you beef with somebody, you're probably never going to see them again. Unless it's a family member or somebody that's literally on your street, you're never going to see them again.
yeah, absolutely, man. And I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. Situations where guys get in the ring and they're throwing punches and kicks and knees and choking each other out, and by the end of it, these guys have grown a mutual respect, if not, months down the line, friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These type of scenarios aren't available when the person's not no longer here.
Hmm.
And you're in jail for doing what you did.
That's,
It's like,
I mean, you're sacrificing years off your life if you attempt to kill somebody. I mean, I don't understand what causes you to do that, might I say. Like, there's not much that should cause that, you know?
yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, man. It's crazy out here, man, but you know, we're pushing the agenda, and I believe that at least in the areas that we're in, it's helping make that change.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, not much
Yeah.
else about that.
Yeah. But I had a good question for you. Just slipped my mind. Uh, that's what it is. Do you have any favorite fight movies? We usually
Yes.
ask our fighters, any
Yeah,
classics, any favorites.
gotta go with the Rocky movies. I mean, who
Okay.
wouldn't? It's it's so inspiring to me, because I mean, one of the most popular scenes in there is when he says there is no tomorrow. My bad. There is no tomorrow. Um, there's only today. You don't know if you even have a tomorrow, right? Like you could die today. Why not go ahead and move on with today and not worry about tomorrow? Like that's one of the main things that really drives me because I have 24 hours today. Really, I have 2.5 hours, but 24 hours in a full day, I'm gonna use all of it. I'm gonna use all of it to pursue my passion. Um, Make sure I'm excelling in the things I need to do. You know,
Well said. Well said. Uh, any particular any particular Rocky part that you like better than the other? Favorite out of the it's like eight of them.
man, it's just like there is 8 of them. There's like a million different parts, so I can't really specify. Which one's my favorite. There's a million different favorites. You see what I'm saying?
We'll just throw it as one.
Yeah, exactly. Like the entire story is stupid because it doesn't make sense as a boxer to me. But at the same time, it did inspire me to get me into the game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the Creed movies, like them shits, it was like doesn't make sense. Dude gets out of jail, he gets a title shot.
yeah,
Doesn't make no sense. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah, yeah. Hey, but, and this is a good point. We have fights like what Jake Paul is putting on. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
But that's different because it was just a 10 round fight. It wasn't for no title. Like that's the main
not
part
yet,
that I try to argue against.
not yet.
Not, don't do that. He's not going to get no title shot.
I'm
I
just
want to
saying, bruh.
disagree with you. I want to disagree with you, but at the same time, he is ranked top 15 by the WBA, and there is a chance if he does fight an actual contender for a
Uh,
title elimination, he's going to get that 12-round title shot.
that's wild.
I'm
That,
telling you, man. I mean,
yeah, man.
that guy can do it. If that guy can do it, where he was doing vines and shit,
Mm,
I can do it. Like, what are we talking about?
facts, facts. I will say, it's interesting to see the matchups and I guess the spectacle behind it. But I know, for the first time, these fighters are straight up getting paid, and
Yeah.
they're not getting cheated out their money, So in that regard, he's doing something. So
I am a very large advocate for that too, where fighters do get paid.
mm,
Um, the Ali Act is a very big part of that. And I want to push for fighters to get the respect they deserve, more control in who they fight, you know, less control from the promoters and stuff, so that the fighters get the most control in the fight game.
yeah,
Even not a game, but you get the point.
yeah, start cutting all these extra middlemen out the way,
Exactly. If it could just be me talking to my opponent, communicating, trying to get this fight set up, it'd be alright. But we can't do that because there's money involved.
Facts.
Yeah.
And in the perfect world, it seems like it would be so simple. Like there'd be an app. You want to fight? Yeah, I want to fight. Sign up. Signed up. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. We get paid. Like it seemed like it would be that simple, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this one app that I've seen a couple people use. It's called Fightbook. It's kind of it has the good concept like that, but obviously there's more complications to it.
Mm.
But I mean, it should be that simple. You just try and fight. You try and put them dukes up.
You know, let's make a mutual verbal agreement binding contract right here that we're gonna square up and duke it out,
One day I'm gonna just start carrying a paper around me, and if I ever see a professional boxer, I'm gonna just be like, "Yo, sign this real quick. We're gonna scrap right here, right now, and you're gonna get paid some bread." That's what I wish for, but I know I'm not gonna be able to get that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows what the future holds,
Yeah.
That could
Yep.
be that could be the future of fighting in general. You know what I mean? I got an issue with my neighbor. I'm gonna just run up with this contract. Hey, I got something for you, pal.
Man, only wish.
Shoot. It might solve issues, you know what I mean? Less people will want to fight. Less
I
people
mean,
causing issues, you know?
that's why we got, Street Beefs on YouTube, because we want to show everybody on earth possible that we can have two people, if they don't like each other, just come in and put them dukes up. It's that simple. Most people don't find it as simple, but we try to make it as simple. A lot of people don't even understand the simple rules of that. Like they ask, bro, they ask like a bunch of different type of questions, and it's just like, yo, just show up to the event this time, this date. We give them all that type of information. We tell them to sign the waiver, show us your ID, and then boom, put some gloves on. And they don't know how to do that. It doesn't make that much sense, you know.
And it's that simple. That simple. Yeah, man. And that separates the ones who want to fight from the ones who don't. You know what I mean? I know the origin started with beef fights and solving those beefs, but now we get the guys who really just want to come and compete, and
Yep.
make a name and make a run for themselves, and you know that really separates those. You can really see, okay, this person really wants this. They enjoy fighting, or they enjoy the organization and the brotherhood and the fellowship and everything, and you know uh and that, I look at it like, hey, legit fight club. You know what I'm saying? The definition of a fight club,
And I mean, it's grown over time. It used to be just a bunch of dudes from the street. They just coming out to scrap. They doing it for the love of the game. They don't even care. They don't even know what YouTube is. They just coming out to fight. You know, that was back then when we had maybe 1,000 subscribers. You know, and then over time it just grew. It was like, yo, we're on New York Times. Yo, Demetrius Johnson is talking about this. Yo, we got Jake Paul talking about it. And
Yep.
now we got guys who are really trying to take this serious. So it's just like it's really grown into an actual fight club. It's the fight club. This is what people are going to make movies about one day.
Facts. Facts. So in the movie, right? Who's playing you?
Who's playing me? It's got to be me.
It's
It's
got to
got
be
to.
you.
There's
Okay,
nobody
okay.
else. Like the entire tribe of Wilmores is gonna play themselves. We actually got a Tubi movie that we're trying to come up with right now.
Come on,
Uh,
man.
there's actually a couple projects that we have going on right now. That's one of them. We also have a documentary with
Yeah, yeah.
Warner Brothers that we're trying to get out there and stuff like that. But we got a lot of big things coming on, things that are going to cement us into history. You know,
Even more because you guys are already there.
hey man, I mean, we trying to show everybody how to do this, how to stop other people from shooting each other. You got to
Mm,
do it out. We're trying to show everybody, all 8 billion people, we're going to show that to.
yeah, and you guys are doing a hell of a job. With that. You know, oftentimes I tell people, when you look at fighting on the internet, from back in the day, you were watching a fight on the internet. It was either a Kimbo Slice fight or it was a Street Beefs fight. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Or maybe an occasional crackhead fight. You know what I'm saying? But usually it was Street Beefs or it was Kimbo. That
yeah.
was it.
Shout out Kimbo, for real. Wish we could have gotten him on the yard, honestly. He would have
Yeah,
went crazy.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, man. You know, because they see it, fighters, real fighters see it and appreciate it, you
They
know,
they definitely see it. They just, I bet you they're told they can't be talking about it.
that
I
part.
know for a fact they can't be talking about it because I see their reaction on these podcasts and other shows and in their live streams and all that type of stuff. They can't talk about us for some reason. I don't see why. I'm an advocate for having real fighters talk about us, honestly. I would
Yeah.
appreciate if y'all talk about us, the UFC fighters, the boxing world champions. I know y'all see this type of stuff.
Yep. You see reels and clips all the time, if not watching full videos, there's no shame in it,
I mean, there's guys like Aiden Ross was talking about us. It got shut down real quick when he was talking about us. And then
Mm,
Jake Paul, exact same situation. He said one word about us. They shut down the conversation about it real quick. And I don't see necessarily why. We're just trying to be a good fight organization that's trying to help out the community. Like, we're not doing it as much for the money as you would think.
yeah. Yeah, man. People, bro. People.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they want everything to themselves.
It ain't stopping nothing, though. It ain't stopping. The numbers are steady going up,
Never, it's never
and
gonna stop us. I mean, this is sticking with us for generations and generations to come. Our kids is gonna have street beefs to them. I mean, and there's gonna be we're eventually going to have a street beefs ring in every single city in the United States of America, and we're going to have laws that show, hey, you have to fight if you have a problem.
mm,
Eventually it's gonna get to that point. At least I hope so. You know,
hey, that's a hell of an idea, man, and that'd be
hell of
dope
an
to see.
idea. No, we're trying to expand outside the country if possible, if
Mhm.
possible. But you know, I would love to open up couple extra locations, place in Florida, place upstates, that type of stuff. I would love that type of stuff, get more of the community out there, get more personalities, more styles, all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I notice when you guys do like the pop-up events at different locations, it always adds a different flavor, a different look, and people like that. People like that.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
go ahead, go ahead.
nah, I lost my thought, my bad.
Well, I was just gonna ask, as far as different looks go, the OG yard has several different arenas, or you could say, you have different rings, different cages. Uh, Do you have a preference, and what is it like from one stage to the next?
So we got two MMA cages, we got one boxing ring. Obviously, since I'm the boxer, I prefer the boxing ring. But the main cage, it has this like big thing where the main staff member stays on. It looks like a gladiator type thing, and we have two gladiators just duking it out, and I love it. I can't lie. Honestly, one day we need to have it just like a big old coliseum, that exact style, and then have somebody like blow a horn every time the fight's about to start type stuff. It's like
That'd
it
be
would
dope.
be hilarious and awesome at the same time. I can't even lie to you. It has that kind of style too. And we used to have like these drums, these battle drums that would just play
Remember?
background music. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We haven't had those for like 2, 3 months now. I kind of miss it. I can't
it was
lie.
dope.
Like, I like that vibe that they was bringing on.
It was dope. Homie didn't miss a beat, so you
No,
know.
no, for real.
I don't know if you've noticed, the different stages out here on the West Coast because we've gone through different venues. Currently, we have two, uh, and one of them being the Hot Box. and the hot box is the one that is the full wooden pallet ring.
Yeah, I've
And
seen.
yeah, when you mentioned the Coliseum and the Gladiator, I'm like, man, nothing feels that way more so than the hot box. I mean,
It's,
bro, visceral. I mean, that's the best word I could use, you know.
uh,
I
and
mean,
they
we've seen people
gotta,
go
I do
through.
gotta come out there for the one time, just for
Got
that,
to, got
just for
to.
that, man.
Now, mind you, it's being rebuilt, so by the time you come out and see it, it'll be a little bit more professional, I should say,
Yeah.
because it's going through some wars, some wear and tear.
Now I
But
feel. I mean, yeah,
yeah, but we got the Smoke Ranch as well in Vegas,
yeah,
um, which is dope. You know, that's more similar to like an MMA cage style cage with mats. You know, so you know the footing is good for everyone now. Um, but yeah, man, we got some cool stages out here as well. Yeah.
yeah.
For sure, man. I can't keep you here all night. I know we have a time difference between us. If you want to go ahead and give any shout outs, any plugins, you know, let people know where they can reach you, that'd be the time.
So my Instagram, that's my main page. It's m.i.t.m, which is the acronyms for my fight name, and then you put boxing, and then I should pop up right then and there. It's the one with around 9,000 on Instagram. I'm trying to get to 10,000, which eventually I know I will. Um, I go by my actual name, which is Elijah Wilmore on Facebook, but pretty much that's about it. Obviously, shout out to Street Beefs on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe if you haven't. And if you have, go make a backup account and subscribe again. And, keep on going from that. But, anyways, that's all I got for today, honestly. I appreciate you for bringing me on here. Hope this video goes well when it comes to editing and posting and all that type of stuff. And I appreciate you for bringing me on here.
Absolutely, brother. It's been a pleasure. Definitely a long time coming. And hopefully we'll get you back on sometime, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night, bro.
Thank you. You too.
Another fire episode, man. Got to give a one final shout out and thank you to our guest tonight, Man in the Mirror. Appreciate you and your time. Let me go ahead and get through these real quick. These shout outs. Thank everyone watching live, everyone watching on replay, everyone in the comments. Thank you. We appreciate you. We do this for y'all. Shout out to the OG Yard. Shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to the Dirty South. We appreciate y'all. We do this for y'all. Jay, I appreciate you. Freezes, I appreciate you. Shout out to Overtime Hustling Magazine. Shout out to Heart in the Fight. We appreciate y'all. We do this for y'all. Thank you. And yeah, man, y'all know me. Y'all can catch me same time, same place next week. I hope everyone has a happy holidays, happy new year. Be safe out there. And in Jay's famous words, one world, one love, deuces.